With this new drift mechanic that came to the Chop Shop DLC, also came along with a lot more questions. Questions that I still haven't got answered. But in this video, I'll be showing you cars that I think are the best drift cars from the new Chop Shop DLC. There are 8 that you can drift tune right now. They all cost 200,000 to drift tune, but the vehicles obviously cost different prices. So I'll be showing you the ones to purchase in my opinion, starting from last and then going to the best. I would suggest watching the whole video because some cars might appeal to you more because you like the different type of drifting aspect that one car has, and they are all unique. I spent so much time testing these cars and the spectrum is so small. Hopefully enjoy. He titles it as a drift video and he's doing a drag race. Well, I thought, it's important to know how fast these cars are. I guess speed does come in consideration when it comes to drifting, and I found the results surprising, so I thought I'd post it. The Futo actually is the fastest car, and yeah, I think they all have very similar speeds, but it just goes by weight here. The ZR350. It's a shame that this is last because it's such an amazing drift car in real life. It's something I wanted to be at the top. But the ZR350 has an elements that are really not for beginners. Some people might like that aspect, but I'll show you why it takes effect in a second. First of all, when you get to high speed drifting, the car does suffer a bit from open diff drifts, where you'll see one wheel peel when you kind of straighten up or go at a slight angle into corners. Now, it's not an issue entering corners because you can just yank the handbrake and then get both wheels spinning again, but it is an issue when you start straightening up and you want that straightening up to be smooth and perfect, which might not be applicable for people who have just started drifting, but it's something to definitely take in consideration. Another consideration is actually the rear end and how it comes out a lot faster than other cars, and the ZR350 always had that, and it's cool to see that they actually brought the same features with the new drift tuning upgrade. It is a lot more snappier, and it's not even the shortest wheelbase car. It being snappy could be preferred for people because of transitions, but it always makes you correct a lot sooner than other cars. And yeah, I promise I won't get so in depth with the mechanics of this because this video will be too long if I do so. But yeah, it comes in at number 8. At number 7 comes the Drift Yosemite. Although the Drift Yosemite does host a lot of great modifications, and it's called Drift Yosemite, still has a more of a rear wheel feel to it than any other car on this list. It being a slow drift car makes it seem like you're doing everything in slow motion, and then when you actually do get a good corner, it's not as satisfying as any other car. How I would describe this car is it's as if you're going slightly uphill everywhere you go, and it feels like you've got some weight over the rear wheels, which does make sense because of the modifications you can actually put on this vehicle. The Euros seems to have similar aspects to the ZR350, where in the middle of a drift you can find it getting a bit more snappier, and this snappy feel makes you feel like it's front end biased. The weight's more heavier over the front wheels than it is on the rear wheels. Although again, it's near impossible to spin out, it just makes the whole drift look less satisfying. And I kept testing this car whilst I was commentating, and when I stopped commentating in my spare time, and I couldn't figure out what wasn't allowing me to drift this car better than the next couple of ones on this list. Now, the Jester RR definitely has stiffer suspension compared to the other cars on this list, but I think that's what I like about this car. It has stiffer suspension, but it's still smooth, it's not jittery. With a stiffer suspension, if you do let go of the throttle or you pull the handbrake, that less body roll makes the car a lot more predictable. You know how long you're going to slide, and you know if you're going to save it or not. Now, you'd think, oh, the stiffer suspension probably affects the handling a lot when it comes to potholes or speed bumps, but these cars all have softer dampening, which makes it soak up all the potholes or speed bumps. It definitely does feel more drift car than rally car. Now, in 4th place comes the new FR36. Now, it's definitely getting harder and harder to choose through these cars, and trust me, no matter what car you pick on this list, you'll be satisfied. The Fathom definitely gets to the point of the list where even if you choose this over the first car, it's still a good purchase in my opinion. The Fathom, I think it's really smooth when it comes to going 45 degrees. It's a very hard to explain physics that I feel when I'm drifting this car. But Fathom definitely does have that bit of weight to it, where the first gear, it is a bit slower than other cars on this list. But at the same time, with that weight, after like 30 minutes or so of drifting it, you know where that weight is going to take you. You know how far you can slide before you stop, and you know how much angle you need to do before it gets a bit twitchy. Now in third place comes the Drift Tamper, which has the longest wheelbase that makes it very easy to step out and get that nice angle without the car getting too twitchy. I feel like I've said twitchy so many times. But if you want to get any type of speed drifting and you want it to look smooth, Drift Tamper is a very good option. It's really good at low speed drifting, it's very good at high speed drifting. It's not only set for one purpose. And it can be daunting at first because it's so long that sometimes it's very hard to predict if you're going to fit through a certain gap or you're not going to hit that lamppost. So then you try and get more angles so you don't hit it, and that angle just makes it worse. But honestly, it's one of the more fun vehicles because you can get so much angle. You can do every trick. You can do it at low speed, high speed. It's very useful in all situations. Now, two cars at the top, which share something in common, and I think I understand why I like them. They're more lightweight drift cars. Now, lightweight drift cars let you utilize a lot of things a lot more, which I will speak about when it comes to number one. But the Remus has always been a smooth drift car, and it still seems to be when this new drift tune comes out. It's the most stable car by far. Like, I know I said these cars are so similar, but yeah, the Remus proves to be the smoothest still. And it's very hard to explain, but it seems like the Remus, throughout all the drifting I did, I couldn't find a time where the rear diff never locked up. It always locked up no matter what angle I was at, which then makes the car a lot more predictable, and then it swings out from straightened up angles really quickly. I can't fault the Remus. It's definitely something that should be on your list to purchase if you don't have it. Now, you'd think the Futo GTX doesn't deserve first place with what I'm about to say, because this car is a shorter wheelbase, which you can feel the twitchiness, you can feel every little movement of your analog stick, and you can see the car reacting to it. But this car feels like a rally car, and it feels like something you can violently throw around, and you can still understand where it's going to end up. Honestly, I highly recommend the Futo GTX. I highly recommend letting go of the throttle and seeing how quickly it grips up, saving you from a lot of drift. And also utilizing that handbrake. Please try it. Try drifting into a corner too early, then pull that handbrake and see how long this thing goes, because it feels like a lightweight rally car that has budget tires on it. And even though it does look a bit twitchy, when you're doing these drifts at high speed and still saving them, and you see this little Futo carrying on the drift for so long, it's so satisfying. Yeah, I was not supposed to do this video because I thought the cars behaved too similarly. But then as soon as you get out and you start drifting them more and more back to back, and then you start realizing it did take me quite a long time to kind of figure out these differences. But if you did enjoy this video or found it helpful in any way, please do leave a like. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys in the next one.